Greetings to all my fellow watch enthusiasts on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else this video might be seen and shared. It's Celine Driver once again. This is video number 3 of my state of the collection. If you've already seen my first 2, you'll know that my first video was all my watches that are not Seiko and not Zelos. Video number 2 was all my Seikos. So that would make video number 3, the video that I'm going to enjoy the most, is all my Zelos watches. I don't think it's a secret to anyone who's listened to me talk about watches for more than 5 minutes or seen my other videos to know that my favorite manufacturer is in fact Zelos. I've had excellent results with Zelos. My father also has multiple Zelos watches. I've had almost nothing but trouble-free ownership. I think I've had problems with two watches that had to go back or be repaired or replaced. One of them I've since sold was a Mako, a version 1 Mako. It had a crown problem. Elshin, once I contacted Elshin Tang, the owner of Zelos, he shipped me a replacement watch and said all you have to do is take the back cover off the old one, the broken one, put it on the working one, and send me back the broken one with the other back cover so I maintain my serial number. This happened within a week. Actually, less than a week. I think I had the watch within 4 days. The other watch that I had a problem was this one. The movement literally locked up. He said send it back, and it was back to me with a brand new movement within 2 weeks. I defy anyone to show me or tell me of a watch costing 10 times the cost of one of these watches that can turn around that quickly and give the owner that level of communication with the owner of the company. It isn't there. It is there in the microbrand world, but in the microbrand world, there's Elshin way up here, and everyone else is playing down here for second place. That's my opinion. You may think differently. Anyway, end of speech. Also, a little bookkeeping. In my first video, which was my state of collection of all watches not Zelos, not Seiko, I forgot a watch, and I have it here. This is my Rolex. This is my Rolex Grandmaster. This is a circa 1990 Grandmaster GMT. It was originally a Pepsi bezel. It is now a Coke bezel. I still have the Pepsi bezel in storage. This watch did belong to my father. It did fail on him. It had not been serviced by the previous owner, and it did lock up on him and had a couple of other small problems. He went and got himself another Rolex GMT Master 2 Pepsi and gave this to me and said, here, play with this. So I had it serviced. New crystal, had the movement serviced, had them swap the Pepsi bezel for the Coke. Clean it up a little bit, no polishing. It's still virgin metal, at least as far as my family is concerned, and got the watch back in great shape. This watch is very special to me. It was the first watch my dad ever gave me. It belonged to him for many years. He wore it proudly for many years. And it's a very special family heirloom kind of watch, and it will never be sold. Anyway, I did not include that by mistake in the first video, so I wanted to clean that up. Now, on to Zelos. I have many Zelos here. I have, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 watches. And there's a lump back here. There is a lump back there because that is a watch that I own that I cannot reveal at this time. So you will have to stay tuned for that watch's reveal at another time. I'm not saying who makes it. I'm not saying anything about it at all. I'm just saying that I love it. And I can't wait for it to be released so that I can make a video of it and show it off to all of you. But for now, that watch remains hidden, if you will. Anyway, what do I have on the table here? I have a variety of different Zelos watches. Where to start? Well, I'll just start over here. I have a first generation Mako. This one is actually a very special first generation Mako in that this watch never really went into full production. This is a first gen, one of only 3 made. The reason it's special is because this meteorite face was only available in production with a black bezel. Elshin did a photograph set on the Facebook Zelos Timekeepers Facebook group with this watch with a blue bezel. And I was one of a couple of people that said, gee, I'll take that off your hands any old time you want. And I think all 3 of us were half joking about it. And we found ourselves the recipient of private messages saying, you want it? Here's the price. You want it? Buy it. I want it. I bought it. I recently had, up until recently, this was on a leather strap, but I recently put it on a Zelos first generation bracelet, and it wears much better on the bracelet. It feels more comfortable. It feels more natural as a dive watch on the bracelet, and I was very happy I bought that bracelet. By the way, just to make sure y'all understand, I'm not going to go into specifications and sizes and that. So every watch on the table here has a separate video on it specific to that watch. So go back through my archives, search Mako, search ZX, search Hammerhead. You'll find the specific watch that you want, and you'll find detailed information about it. I also have a first generation Mako, which is one of the blues, blue bezel, blue sunburst watch face. Very nice watch. Some people have complained about the crown being very small. It is a very small crown, but it's never given me any problems. Again, this was on a, for a while this watch was on a leather strap, and for a while this watch was on a mesh strap from Zelos, which they still sell. And I recently bought the proper bracelet for it from Zelos. And it works beautifully. Very happy with that. Back behind it, I have one of the Great White watches. This one is, of course, the gray, wavy sunburst style face with the turquoise chapter ring and the black bezel. This is a what is this? This is a 1,000-meter diver. Basically, the Mako's big brother. Oops. Of course, I have to go around again because my ADD will not allow me to leave a bezel crooked. And this came with the bracelet, so I kept it on the bracelet. You can see the carving of the Great White there. Some of you may notice that some of the watches I had in my last Day of the Collection video set, they're no longer here. I did have a second Great White, which was a blue, which I sold recently and is being worn very happily by one of my subscribers. I think his name is Brad. Yeah, it's Brad. And he's very happy that he tells me so all the time. He keeps thinking that I'm going to get jealous and unhappy that I sold him the watch when he's right, but, You sell one watch, you buy another. Anyway, nice trio of divers that are related to each other. I have one of the Horizon GMT watches. This is one of the Aventurine dials. This was a series of 100 watches that were only made available to subscribers of the Zelos Timekeepers Facebook group. You had to be a member of that group. Then you would get an email with a special link address and password, which I don't have anymore because I forgot it. I think these are all sold out anyway, but I love this watch. It's a small 40 millimeter watch. I love the dial, the way it sparkles. You should see this thing in the sunlight. It is amazing. Don't see a lot of anthracite watches. The only other anthracite face watch I've ever seen is the Omega Blue Moon, or Blue Side of the Moon Speedmaster, which has an anthracite dial and a moon phase and all that. This is just a wonderful watch to wear out in the sunlight. I'm going to skip over here for a minute. I have my Hammerheads. I have 4 Hammerheads at the moment. This is the first Zelos watch I ever bought. This is a Zelos Hammerhead Meteorite dial. And this watch is directly blamed on one of my subscribers, one of my very good friends. His name is Davor. He is my favorite Croatian in all the world. And he bought one of these and he did a video review. And I saw that video review. I think I was like the 3rd viewer of that video. And I was hooked. I was dumbstruck. I couldn't take my eyes off the watch. Had to have it. Had to have it. And I bought my first Zelos that day. And I think I told Elshin that story, and we've been friends ever since. I think it's a pretty good story. And I've been friends with Davor ever since. He's a great guy. Real heavy on the accent, though. But his English is better than my Croatian, I got to tell you. Anyway, this is a bronze watch, and you can see it's patinaed in nicely. I didn't have to do a thing to it. I live in a state in the United States. I live in Florida. I think everyone knows I live in Florida. Florida is high humidity. I live near the water, so there's a pretty good salt content to the air, and that's what she does to bronze. So this is Genesis. This is my first Zelos ever. And it was quickly followed by the second one within days of ordering and receiving that one. Davor also did a video review on this one, a rather rare and not well-known Hammerhead. These are all first generations, by the way, with the Damascus bezel and a gray anthracite colored watch face, all stainless steel. Heavy watch, very heavy, but wears like a dream, and it's just a beautiful watch. And this was number 2. He also did a video of this watch, and that's what sold me on that watch. And then kind of after that, I didn't use Davor for buying watches much after that because he was bad influence. Very special Hammerhead here. I've talked about this watch many times. This is the Hammerhead 688. You can see 688 there on the bottom. What is 688? Well, the metal in this watch face comes from metal from the recently decommissioned and scrapped USS Los Angeles attack submarine, nuclear attack submarine. Its job was to hunt down and kill other submarines. That's what an attack boat does. Its sail number was 688. All U.S. submarines have a designation number. This one was 688. So, and it was the lead boat in the 688 class or Los Angeles class attack submarines. So this is a very special watch. This watch, when I wear it, I feel a connection to the many men and women who serve on the front line protecting our freedoms, and especially the ones that are members of the silent service. And I have a good friend. His name is George. He is one of my Celine brothers. He was also a submariner. And I think of him and the sacrifices that he went through as a defender of the United States in a very cold war. Very special watch. Don't think I'll ever sell that. Then I picked up this watch after it was out of production. Elshin recently did a clearance sale where he sold a whole bunch of watches that were prototypes, or they had come back for service reasons or whatever. And there were two of these, and it was my opportunity to pick up the blue Hammerhead titanium that I didn't pick up when they first came out. It was watch head only, and later on I was able to obtain the proper and correct titanium bracelet, which after a lot of struggle did actually fit. But it wears beautifully. It's a great watch. It really is a great watch on the wrist, and I love blue. It's my favorite color. Let's see, what else do I have here? Let's go back here. I have a couple of the Skyraiders. These are the manual wind pilot style watches that were produced by Zelos. This one is the blue wave sunburst face with the titanium body and the highly decorated, here, I gotta take this off so you guys can get a good look at this, because this is a beautiful movement. Look at the decoration on this. The barrels, the wheels, the bridges, just the blued screws, the jewels, everything about this watch is just first class all the way. I paired it with a aftermarket strap. This is the one and only time I didn't go with collar ebb. This was a Jurgens. I think it's Jurgens. There it is. Jurgens. Because it's a pilot style, with the rivets, although these are screws, but it's just a beautiful watch. And, it's a manual wind, has about a 3-day power reserve, big oversized crown. Sub dial is the running seconds, and it really keeps great time. It's a really beautiful watch, and I also have it in the full skeleton version in the bronze case. Now this one actually belonged to my dad, but he got tired of having to manually wind it, and he's an older gentleman, and his fingers are a little bit arthritic at this point, so cranking on that crown was a bit much. So he turned it over to me, and it patinaed in beautifully. And it's just a beautiful watch, and even with the fully skeletonized, front and rear, it's really easy to tell time on it because the hands do stand out very nicely. Let's see, what else we got? We've got Swordfish. My dad has several Swordfish, and so do I. I have a couple of first-generation Swordfish. I have this blue one. This is the one that failed. This was the NH35 movement, the Seiko. And this is the one that failed, and Elshin put a new movement in it and sent it back to me within 2 weeks. No questions asked. He got it in. He looked it over. He said, yep, dead movement. We'll fix it. He fixed it. He cased it up. He tested it for its water resistance. It passed, and it came back to me. Beautifully made watch. Great bezel movement. Nice and tight. Good clicky sound. No no wobble. Just a beautiful, dark, sunburst blue dial. And what is it? 300 meter, I think. I think it's 300. What more could you want? I have the same watch in the, what does it say? Yes, it's 300 meter, yeah. I have the same watch, first generation. You can tell it's a first generation because of the different clasp. In the aquamarine. I love this watch face. It's a very unique. I wish he would do some more aquamarine watches, but the teal seems to be more popular than the aquamarine. And I love the fact that the bezel is, this color instead of another color, so that all the focus goes to the dial, which is a beautiful dial. It's a very comfortable, very supple bracelet. You can see the bracelet drops pretty much straight down off of the fixed link. Great watch. And I have a second generation Swordfish. You can tell it's a second gen because of the second generation clasp. And yes, there was a minor fiasco with this clasp, which Elshin, by the way, fixed within a month and offered the replacement clasp free to whoever wanted. In fact, free to everyone that ordered one of these. Got a replacement clasp, no charge. And it was, within a month that problem was fixed. I mean, come on. If I'm going to run out of superlatives when it comes to telling you how good Zelos customer service is. And I don't work for Zelos. I don't get paid for Zelos. I don't get free watches from Zelos. I pay for every watch on the table. I paid for, except for that one, which my dad paid for. I paid for every secondary strap and bracelet and everything. I don't get breaks from Zelos. I am an unashamed, unabashed Zelos fanboy. And I will sing their praises until I don't breathe no more. End of speech. Second generation, this one is with the pressed carbon or forged carbon dial, which looks like a meteorite dial, doesn't it? But it is forged carbon. A very unique look, and I love the vintage look of the loom on the indices and on the bezel. It looks like a watch that is 30 years old, been rode hard and put away wet all the time. Getting to the end, guys. I'm getting near the end. I know I go long on these videos, but there's a lot of stuff to cover. And finally, I have my 3 ZX watches. These are the chronographs. And I have 3 of the real good ones, I think. Although I really would like to get a couple more ZXs down the line, but these are the 3 that I think are the best ones. I have the ZX7 Titanium Damascus or Timascus, which is fire treated. Very hard to do. They only made 40 of these. And they've made Timascus in other watches. They've done it for the Hammerhead. They did it for the Skyraider. Hopefully one of these days I'll pick one of those up too, but they don't come up for sale that often. Nobody wants to sell them, and I think if you look at this one, you'll see why. It's a chunky watch, but it wears very well because of the short lugs, and it's very lightweight because it's titanium. I paired it with a collar ebb leather strap. You really can't put a bracelet on this one because it won't match with the Damascus. It uses a Valjoux 7750 movement like the other 2 down there. And it just works great as a chronograph, and it just keeps great time, and it's a beautiful watch to wear. And just having the ZX7 was pretty cool to me, but I was given the opportunity to get a hold of a ZX8, which is the chronograph, which is known as the Blackbird, because the watch face is made from the metal from the SR-71 Blackbird Mach 3 Plus supersonic reconnaissance aircraft. The metal is taken from the turkey feathers on the engine. Those are the back of the engine nozzle pieces that, as the engine revs up, they spread like the feathers of a turkey on the tail. So they're called turkey feathers. So you can Google that if you want. Just Google jet engine turkey feather, and you'll see what you can find video on YouTube or somewhere. Top Gun. If you watch the movie Top Gun, you see them do right at the beginning sequence. They did a shot of an F-14 revving up before takeoff, and you see those engine nozzles spread open like this, and that's the turkey feathers. So I think there were only 40 watches in this series made, and it's the titanium case. I just recently paired this thing up with a titanium bracelet. It was on a collar ebb strap for a long time, and I think it looks a lot better on titanium. Wears better too. Love that watch. And then my most recent pickup from Zelos is the one of one. I don't think he's going to make another one. I hope he doesn't, because I love saying I have one of one, because my ZX Spitfire. This is the one where it uses the same case and bracelet as the ZX8. Same movement, but as you can see, instead of the dark, the silver hands, this one has gold, and the indices are lined with, are trimmed with gold, and you have a gold subdial ring for the constant seconds, and the chronograph minutes and hours and the chronograph minute hand, second hand, are in red. And the watch face is made with metal taken from a British Spitfire World War II fighter plane. And this was actually, in one iteration, Elshin's personal watch, and I managed to, I didn't really think it took as much persuasion as it should have, but I managed to talk him into selling the watch to me. And after it was refurbished with a few upgraded parts that I wanted, I got it. It took a while because he's not a custom watchmaker and he's busy trying to make a living, but I got the watch. And just a beautiful, beautiful piece. Nicely decorated movement, but as you can see, the case back has no engraving at all, as compared to, say, the SR-71 or the Blackbird, which has the standard Zelos style engravings of various bits of information. Being that this is a one-off, ain't gonna happen that way. Anyway, that's my Zelos state of the collection. 16 beautiful watches. I've actually had more Zelos watches than I do right now. I've actually sold off a few of them. If the owners of those watches are watching this video, I hope you're enjoying your watches. I hope you have given them good homes and you get plenty of wear out of them, and that you're happy with your purchase. Heck, you must be happy with your purchase. You never called me to complain. And being an old PC tech support guy from way back, the motto is, if they ain't calling, nothing's wrong. And I believe that. It also goes for kids up in college. Love you. Love you. Anyway, that is the end of my State of the Collection this is the end of video 3, which ends my State of the Collection series for February 2020. I'm sure I'll be doing another one of these in 6 months or so, and I hope you'll join me for that too. If you like this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. Comments, questions, suggestions down below. I read them all. I respond to them all. I delete the nasty trash, and I block the poster. If you're not already a subscriber and you've visited this channel for the first time, or if you are a repeat visitor but have not subscribed, please click the red button. It helps me out. It helps me grow my channel. I'm just growing it for the heck of it. I mean, I would love to be monetized and, you know, all that and, you know, everything that goes with that, but not really why I'm here. I'm here because I like to talk about watches and I like to share and find out what makes you guys tick, pun intended. So click the subscribe button, then click the bell icon next to it. So when I when I upload new content, you are alerted. I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate all my subscribers. I appreciate my new subscribers. And I look forward to seeing all of you in my next video.